Hey everybody, it's Boardman21 and today's build is going to be the free Shaman using Avalanche, but set up completely for speed runs in the Monolith of Fate. The whole purpose of this build is going to be to still put out as much damage as possible, but to do it while running, so that we can run straight to the end of maps at the highest speed we can possibly move, and clear Monolith of Fates as fast as possible and still get good bonuses from the chest at the end. So the way that we're going to do this is we're going to use 5 skills. We're going to have Ice Thorns, Thorn Totem, Entangling Roots, Avalanche, and Storm Totem. Starting with Ice Thorns. Ice Thorns is going to be completely used to give you a freeze multiplier buff and a cold damage buff. And they will be global, and you can have 4 stacks of it if you go up here to the northeast. So we put into Cold Prison with 5 points, which gives us a freeze rate multiplier of 200%. We're going to get 4 stacks of Fairwood Heart because we have 4 points into this node, and each stack gives you 25% more cold damage and 40% more freeze rate multiplier. That's a global buff, so if you keep 4 stacks of that up at all times, you'll have 100% more cold damage and you'll have 160% more freeze rate multiplier with every skill that you use. And then we have 2 points and a chance to fire Piercing Thorns called Piercing Cold, and a little bit extra cold damage. And then we went to the left where we put 1 point into the speed and range, 1 point into the Thorn Shield, and then we obviously want to make it an insta-cast so we don't have to stop to cast it, and that way that we can numlock it with our keypad, and it'll just cast as soon as it comes off cooldown. And with the cooldown we have 6 points in Flooring Tides to make sure that the cooldown is as small as possible so that you can have a constant 4 stacks of that Fairwood Heart. Our second skill here is Thorn Totem. Thorn Totems is going to proc automatically from the idols that we have every time that we hit an enemy. I believe we have somewhere between a 10 and 20% chance to proc it every time that we hit an enemy, and we're constantly hitting because we have Ice Thorns firing off, we have Avalanche throwing down boulders, and we have the Storm Totem doing crazy things. Entangling Roots hits in a big area, so you're just always going to be proccing these. So when we do proc it, how we have it set up is that it's going to proc all 5 of them at once in a circle around us. And they're also the freeze totem. So we have 3 points in Forced Expanse. This allows us to summon the maximum of 5. We have increased duration so they last a long time. You don't super need this, but it is nice for when you go in between patches of enemies. And 1 point in Groove Mind, and this is what makes them all summon at one time. This does reduce the cast speed by 50%, but since it's procced, it's an insta-cast, and it doesn't even cost you mana. Since it doesn't cost you mana, we put 0 points into the Totemic Wisdom, and instead we just went straight for the Freeze Totem. So we put 2 points in Memories of Edera, 5 points into the Venom Tipped Thorns, which gives you 100% poison chance, which is then converted down here to chill chance with the Ice Thorn Totems. So with this you have 100% chill chance, and you have a 45% increase to chill duration thanks to this conversion. And then the final one will be to increase the freeze rate with the Frost Attunement. This gives the totems a freeze rate multiplier of plus 25% and another 5% of every point of attunement, which we have quite a few attunement points, so it's nice. Then we have Entangling Roots. This is set up to last as long as possible, with as many patches as possible, with as big as area as possible, so that you can be in as many patches all at the same time for the healing purposes, and it's completely mana efficient. So the way we have this set up is 5 points in Nourish, 1 point in Roots of Lap, 1 point in Bountiful Harvest, 1 point in Mana Bloom, and 3 points in Fleeting Grove. We then also have 2 points in Reclamation, 3 points in Groove Master, and 4 points in Lasting Briar. Then we have Avalanche. We have turned Avalanche into a cast and forget channeled spell that follows us. It's actually no longer considered channeled because it's a cast and forget, but the way that you do this is you take 1 point, put it in Mountain Peak, another point into Precision, 1 point into Wild Path, which this no longer makes it channeled, and it costs a lot more mana, and it has a 10-second cooldown. But with the other 2 nodes naturally occurring, which reduces the mana cost, makes it not that expensive anymore, and 4 points in Unyielding Storm makes the duration plus 60%, so it actually lasts 9.6 seconds of that 10-second cooldown, so you can basically have 100% uptime of avalanches or boulders coming down on enemies. And the final point in Hailstorm makes the avalanche follow you as you run, so it's just, this is designed beautifully for a cast and forget spell. The rest of our points went with 3 points in Explosive Impact for a bigger avalanche and boulder area of hit, 4 points in freeze rate multiplier so that we have a really high chance to freeze, and we converted all of the physical damage into cold damage, and any stun chance you may or may not have gotten, we didn't get any in this case, will become freeze rate multiplier. And then the final skill, Storm Totem. This is where we get a big speed boost from. So first we make the Storm Totem turn into a Blizzard. So we get 2 points into Steel Plating for increased health, and then this 1 point into Blizzard, which now makes a Blizzard surround your totem, and it also makes all shock chance that it would have done, because it does lightning cast, into chill chance. And it now has a 25% chill chance every second for enemies that are in its area of effect, which we actually make that higher. We go up through icicles to give us some more cold damage, and then 3 points in chill to the bone, which is another 60% chill chance, so that puts us at 85% chill chance, with 2 more points over here in static filled, which says shock chance, but since shock is converted to chill, this is another 20%, which gives you a 105% chance to chill every second, and therefore you're always at least putting 1 stack on every enemy in its area of effect every second. And what that does for you is, up here in the Storm Rider, is you have increased movement speed if Storm Totem has shocked an enemy recently. Instead of shocked, it's now chilled, and since you're guaranteed to chill an enemy, basically you throw this down in a pack of mobs within 1 second, you're going to get a move speed bonus of 40% that lasts for 4 seconds. And it's going to keep refreshing until that totem dies or doesn't have any more enemies to hit, which usually happens pretty quick, because after you run through with Avalanche behind you, it just wipes them out. The other points that we do have is 1 point in high voltage for the shock effect, which is chill effect, so I think it slows down their attack speed even more. Not 100% sure that works as it says, but that's what we hope it does. There's no way to really tell. And the 4 points in lightning raider for cast speed. Those are the skills. We have the passive tree. On the passive tree, in Primalist, we went for 1 point in Gift of the Wilderness, 5 points in Natural Attunement, 5 points in Tempestborn, 2 points in Hunter's Restoration, 1 point in Ancient Call, 1 point in Thornbond, and the 4 points in Wisdom of the Wild. We have 10 points in Druid. You will need at least 5 to unlock Entangling Roots, so we have 3 points in Barkskin, 5 points in Soul's Attendant, 2 points in Veil Warrior, and then the rest of our points, which are 61 in this case for the Shaman, is 8 points in Shamanic Infusion, 2 points in Ancestral Endurance, 3 points in Windbringer, 5 points in Hailbringer, 5 points in Shattered Heavens, and then some of my personal favorites. We got 6 points in Herod's Path, which is for a huge freeze rate chance, 10 points in Protective Circle, since we'll have 6 to 7 totems at all times. This will grant us 50 elemental, necrotic, void, and poison protection for each active totem. Not all together, but for each of them. And then we have 2 points in Ruin of the Awe for 20% base spell damage for you and your minions. This helps the totems damage. 1 point in Elemental Shrines, 1 point in Swirling Maelstrom. And then another big one is the Ascendant Circle, which is an increased spell damage for every active totem you have. So again, this one is huge for damage. And then for the move speed, we put 10 points into Sky Armor, which gives us 100 armor and 20% increased movement. As for items, we switched our items around. So we're running 2 silver rings. We have 8% movement speed on the left, and we have 7% increased movement on the right. We're also running set health, so we have that. I'm going to hover over each item so that you can quickly see what exactly we have going on. We are running Edra's Path for the healing benefits when we proc Entangling Roots. There's the chest. We are doing quite a bit of health regen as well. Our helm and our relic. And then for idols, you will need the idol that will have a chance to cast Storm Totem on hit. So this one we have a 7% chance on hit to summon a Thorn Totem, And then this one we have a 10% chance. So there's a 17% chance every time we deal a hit with any skill to proc the Thorn Totems. And then we also get increased cold damage for every active totem. And that's it.